You are about to see a study in human behavior. In the new millennium, technology is fast replacing organic elements of our lives. How we treat technology is often linked with how we treat each other. When we find life in a computer chip, how should that life be respected? Is this life of value, or is it simply a way to play God without any consequence to the real world?
Welcome to the laboratory of Jean-Paul Gasset. You'll witness before you a phenomenon like no other, a man of the sea, SEAMAN. This legendary creature will be dependent on you for its life's blood. You'll begin right here in Gasset's laboratory. Where is this laboratory? What awaits you within? You have no idea what SEAMAN is or how it evolves. This is something you must find out for yourself.
Excuse me, we need some people for a project that we're doing. Have you ever played with SEAMAN? It's a new video game. SEAMAN, have you heard of it? No? Okay, thanks.
Sorry, guys.
Hey, Santa.
Hello there.
We need some folks for our project.
Okay.
Have you ever played with SEAMAN?
I'm sorry, I haven't.
Oh, well, it's a new video game, SEAMAN. Make sure you tell everybody about it.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Where are you?
Hey, excuse me. We're looking for people to help us on a project. Have you ever played with SEAMAN?
No.
Bro. It's a new video game. It's called SEAMAN.
I was shopping for a Christmas present of mine when this old guy came up to me and started talking to me about his SEAMAN. There's so many perverts these days.
Oh, come on, we'll pay you. Come on.
That certainly aroused my interest.
It aroused my interest too. That's blood. It's burn.
Oh,
Yes!
Look, they popped.
Look at what I did. Hell yes.
What the hell is that?
It's I was really surprised. I thought it was going to be some sort of sick project or something.
I know, dude. I thought we were going to be making some kind of donation.
Yeah, a little fatherly donation. Wait, maybe if we slap it. Yes. Eat. Oh, and they're coming. Let's bring. Because they follow the sound, they'll come right to it. What happens to all of them? They just die?
What is that thing?
Hello? Wait.
Oh,
Whoa.
There goes one of our sperm.
No.
It's
Get away.
eating all of our sperm.
Are you hungry?
Tapple. Oh, that's it. Come
Wait.
on, they're eating all of them. Tapple the glass. What do you got?
I'm trying to grab the thing. All right, it looks like a brain.
Shake him and maybe the sperm will come out. Maybe you didn't actually eat him.
Had about enough of the tap. You're not supposed to be tapping. You're tapping, brother. Don't tap anymore.
I'm tapping, man.
By the way, this interrupts.
Oh, are we on TV?
No tapping. Yes, you were.
Just gonna do that to piss him off.
Seriously, stop the tapping.
Yeah.
And, Ryan,
Yeah.
while we're on TV, I just wanted to say that I love you. Seriously.
Oh my God!
What the hell is that? What is that? Seriously, look. What is that? Oh, Ryan, what is that thing?
I'm too emotional.
Go back. Go back. What the hell is that thing?
It was a very emotional experience. It was cosmic, like fate. I mean, the moment he kissed me, the squid, it went into labor.
It had an orgasm.
No, it didn't. It was in labor.
Dude, I think it had an orgasm.
Oh, that's not what it was.
Dude, it was shaking back and forth. It had an orgasm. It was in heat.
Well,
Tickle it.
let's tickle it. Tickle, tickle, tickle. Wait, now it's not shaking around anymore. What the hell? Was that? That was just. Whoa! I told you it was in labor.
Give him again. It's backhand. Backhand. Backhand.
Wait, let's pick him up. All right. What is it here?
You're gonna talk to us, so we're gonna kick your ass.
You know, men aren't all bad.
Of course not.
Men get a bad rap.
That's right.
Men do have a softer side.
He's saying no. Okay, you
Well,
want
slap him again. Yeah, that's what you get.
You don't tell your fathers to say. Whoa.
Yeah, what are you gonna?
What are you gonna
Take
do?
some of this.
You don't tell your two fathers to no.
Take some of that. You talk now. Give some to him.
What? What?
Talk
What?
to him.
What?
Talk to him. Talk to him.
Okay. Hey. Hi. Oh, he's crying. Oh, I feel bad now. All right, let's talk to him. All right, let's talk.
How come making him talk? Talk all this dumb baby.
Talk. Talk. I'm gonna kill. Oh, okay.
How do you talk to him?
Right here. Push that button. Yeah, wait. Do it again. Zoom in on like right.
Maybe you gotta talk some baby stuff.
All right. Goo goo. Say goo goo or gaga. Hold that.
Goo goo ga 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 ga.
I really believe that communication is an important part of being a good father.
Come here to your daddy. Come over here and let me slap the out of you.
I think our Seaman needs a mother.
What's up?
We just want to give you a name.
It's rather difficult making out what's on the other side of this glass, so let me inquire. Are you a male or a female?
Well, there's two.
Female.
No. And male.
Female.
You're a female of the species, eh?
Yes. Yes, I'm a female.
Excellent.
Ooh.
You know I love the ladies.
Oh, he's a womanizer.
That's cool.
Well, good.
Seaman is hilarious.
Ryan, how come he wouldn't talk for us? We spent all that time trying to get him to talk and he wouldn't say a word. Little sea bastard.
Tell me, are you in your, 20s?
30s.
Ah, I see. And exactly how old are you?
32. Is that okay?
That's...
Should I tell him the truth or not? 32. 30s.
You're 22 years old?
Okay.
That's
yes.
Cool.
The 20s. The prime of your life, I say.
Not.
The warranty hasn't run out on your body yet.
Oh
and you're
God.
able to do all the things you dreamt of as a kid.
Is that true?
Great.
What's up?
We just want to communicate with you and find out if there's anything else you need.
He's just walking away from you. Can I deal with something?
Let's talk with the other one.
I want to hit him.
No. Let's talk with the other one.
Because he keeps wandering off whenever you ask him.
Well, maybe he
you're
just
talking
doesn't
too
want to
much
be
for him.
bothered.
God, she sounds like such a woman.
Hi, baby. Hi, baby.
Hi, baby. Hi, baby.
Buzz off.
I'm sorry.
Hey, settle down there. Hey, thanks for the food.
You're welcome.
You're pretty nice to it. I wasn't very nice to mine. Dog. Alright, well, here, you play.
What?
I'm feeling a little sick. So
you're just gonna...
I'll send you child support for the
Oh, thanks. So I'm stuck in this little hellhole by myself. Oh, that's great.
You're not the sick one.
Oh. Uh-oh. So what? Well, I'm gonna tell the children.
No, leave me alone.
I don't remember how to hit you, because your father always used to do that. Seaman. Hey, Seaman. Talk to me. Talk. I have no one left to talk to. Talk. Seaman. Question. Oh. Oh, you've got legs. Oh, wow. Oh, look, you've got legs. Look, you've got legs.
I wish I could have been there.
Let the mating begin. Oh, that feels good.
Oh, I'm sure you need some food.
Someone over here wants to eat.
Oh, I'm sure you want to eat. That's all you ever want to do. You just want me to feed you, me to fix your heater, me to do everything, me to do all the chores while you sit there and on it.
What
You
did
complain
you do that for?
because you're a little brat and I like hitting you. Oh, I'm asking for it. Oh, yeah. Well, we'll just see about that, you stupid fish. I'm so sick of this.
You want me to open some SEAMAN whoop-ass?
Oh, yeah, you're going to open some SEAMAN whoop-ass on me.
ya?
Oh, right. Oh, I'm so sure.
Ow. Knock it off.
Just, can somebody kill this fish? Can somebody
I said
kill
watch it.
this TV
I bet if
and
I
this
were a
fish
dog, you'd
and this
feed
camera? Just turn the camera off. Just turn it off. Just, I'm out of here. That's it. I'm out of here.
Hey, SEAMAN. I'll take care of you, little buddy.
I have waited 1,000 lifetimes for this moment. Smell that? That's freedom. Freedom. The funny thing is that it's there all the time. You don't always realize it when you're bogged down with so many other things, but you're always free as long as you're true to yourself. That's where freedom lies, within yourself. Good luck with your career. Keep doing your best at what you love and you'll always be proud of yourself. Okay. I must be off. My evolution must continue. Oh my. I think I know where I am. It's all coming back to me. This must be Gasay's island. Somewhere on this island is a place I have to go in order to continue evolving. I must go find it. You know, you're all right. I know we've had our differences occasionally, but I like you. You took care of me all this time, and well, I'm grateful. Very grateful. Well, say something before I start bawling, won't you? As long as I'm here, I might as well leave a few little seamen behind. Get it?
Excuse me.
Uh-huh.
Hi. We're doing a project. We have a question to ask you.
Okay.
Have you guys ever played with SEAMAN? It's a new video game.
No.
No? Okay. Well, thanks very much.
Uh-huh. That's the wrong one that time. Really?
These are some of the things we recovered from your stateroom.
This was mine. How extraordinary. And it looks the same as it did the last time I saw it. The reflection has changed a bit.
Are you ready to go back to Titanic?
Titanic is finally coming to video. Will all the hype and excitement rise again? It will on our end. If you haven't seen Titanic, no matter what your age, then you're not fit to be an American. Here's director James Cameron and stars Leonardo DiCaprio, Kate Winslet, and Billy Zane waxing poetic on Titanic.
The sense was that they were in this shining golden upward spiral of progress, and that everything was only going to get better and better and nicer and nicer. Now we have electric light, and we have subways, and we have flying machines, and we have transatlantic travel through the power of steam, which is what the Titanic represents, and the telephone had just been invented, and movies were brand new, and people were excited by that. The recording of music for the first time, wireless telecommunication, all of these things that we, of course, take utterly for granted, were new at that time. So there was this tremendous optimism, this tremendous excitement. If we understand and absorb the message of the warning against putting our faith optimistically in technology, and more importantly, putting our faith optimistically in the application of technology by flawed human systems, because it was really human failures that sank the Titanic, not the ship itself. The technology itself was fine. It was the state of the art at that time. Titanic was a well-made ship. It's hard to criticize its mode of fabrication. It was just piloted into an iceberg in the middle of the ocean. It wasn't meant to survive that. So there are many metaphors that can be gleaned from the Titanic, and that, I think, accounts for its continuing, fascination for the public at large with a disaster that happened 85 years ago. So you've got the wreck, we know what it looks like, we've been there, we've photographed it, and we've got what people said they saw as it sank. And I drew lines between those two things, and that's what the film represents. The second you realize that it was real people who had the same emotions that we do, who felt the same pain, the same joy, the same love that we feel right now, they just expressed it in different words and different phrases, and they dressed funny. The second you get that, then history becomes very, very interesting.
He definitely senses interest from her standpoint, but I don't think Jack would be the type of guy to impose or pressure her to go for something that she wasn't comfortable with, and I think he sort of gives her the space and allows her to make that decision on her own. Completely, vertical, and we were just sitting there, and all of a sudden I see Jim on a crane going up with the whole night sky, going another 100 feet in the air with his camera sort of leaning over like this with a camera right above me, and I'm looking up at him, and I just ask myself, how did I get here? What sort of turn did I make in my life to be here at this present moment, looking like, just looking at the whole situation was completely surreal. It was completely bizarre. Jim is certainly unlike anybody I've ever worked with. I think he really not only understands the technical side of how to make something look unbelievable, but he, throughout all his films, he's really had a lot of concentration on performances too, But at the same time, he's extremely demanding.
Okay, well, the boarding scene at Southampton begins. It looked extraordinary. It looked so real. I kind of couldn't believe it. And the number of people, I don't think I'd ever done anything where there'd been so many extras before. And everyone looked so real. It looked so English. I mean, it really did. they share so much of the same sort of passion for so many different things in life, which he already has, and she is aspiring to have those things, but they're in her dream world, and they're right in front of her, and she falls in love with him and with them, and goes with it. I was told that the woman playing the older me, who I was desperate to know who was going to be playing her, was Gloria Stewart. And it was just fascinating to me to meet this lady who had so much to talk about. She'd known so many incredible, she was great friends with the Marx Brothers, and she was showing me pictures of herself and things that she'd done and people that she'd met, and telling me tremendous stories about naughty things she'd got up to, and she had so much life and so much exuberance and the same passion for this film as I had.
You know, interior set decorating is just like this, you know, to die for. It's fantastic. There's so much detail in the molding and the fabrics, and apparently, like, you know, some of the carpet that was in the dining room was actually spun off of the original pattern, I'm told, from the company that made the carpeting for the Titanic, which is pretty impressive. We have the most, I think, dedicated corps of extras, you know, who put up with just, you know, what it takes to make this movie, which is just, you know, long hours in the cold, in the water, standing around, emoting, you know, screaming, running, hiding, jumping, and the spirit is incredible. On the page it says Cal, and you know, Cal looks over the railing to see boat 14 be lowered into the water. Well, okay. Now in Jim speak, you know, that means basically, all right, give me 500 people and, like, you know, 60, you know, technical elements working, and you know, it was full on. And that's the case with every scene. There's always something amazing going on beyond, you know, what was certainly written in brief.
Welcome to part one of the best of Flights of Fantasy productions. I'm your host, George Wood. Over the years, we've done a lot of series that have had some really cool and funny stuff. We thought we would dig up some of these gems and show you what you might have missed. we're going to start our clips from the most recent and work our way back to the dark ages of public access. Our first clip features Diane Palangan, award-winning host of Who Wants to Be a Contestant and Choices.
Oh, boy, our third victim is rather young. What is your name, please?
Andrew.
Andrew, hi, how are you?
Good.
Well, Andrew, this will be a good question for you. What will happen if we don't behave on this show? A, John Rouse will slam us. You're so young. Do you know who John Rouse is?
No.
Oh, okay. A little lesson in Bowie. John Rouse is the editor of the Bowie Blade newspaper. That should help you in your answer. B, Sandy Bellino will give me a new derriere. C, the city of Bowie will make us pay rent, us meaning the cable television. Or D, people will tune in.
Now here are some clips from one of our... Just roll the damn holiday clips. Let's see what we were up to on last year's holiday show. Hey, Santa, what you doing there? Whoa, falling down that chimney. Well, come on, get off your butt and let's get on with it. Come on, show us what you got. Where's the bag? Get that bag out. Come on, hurry, hurry. There we go. Toys for the little kitties. Looky here. Oh, somebody left us a gift. What's in the gift, Santa? Let's see what they left you. Open it. Look. Oh, wow. Ah, the dangers of live TV. We tried to book Santa again this year, but I think he's still a little ticked off at me for telling him to get off his you-know-what. I guess I'm on his naughty list. Oh, well. Now for some late-breaking news. Columbia Pictures will release Final Fantasy, the movie, in 2001. What you see here is Squaresoft's Final Fantasy VII video game from last year. The first Final Fantasy was released in 1990 for the 8-bit Nintendo, home of Super Mario Bros. And Duck Hunt. The movie will be entirely computer-generated, the first to have photorealistic human characters and emotions. According to Square, Al Reinert, Academy Award nominee for his Apollo 13 screenplay, has written a script capturing the resilience of the human spirit. In our opinion, the latest character that we can find is a Doughboy. Now,
Yes,
look at
that's
this.
Doughboy.
He looks like a cow flop.
That's Doughboy.
I mean, this guy is so bad.
Can you see it?
There's absolutely nothing that you can say. He is this huge blob.
That's his eye right there. See, that's an eye. That right there is an eye. He actually has a face. He has no intelligence. He can't create or anything on his own. Somebody can command him, like maybe Voice Man could command him to turn into a cake, and then maybe Senor Muerte could gorge himself to death by eating Doughboy.
Oh, well, what do you know? Looky here. Here's our first show.
1995 brought great games like Chrono Trigger, Wario Land, and the Donkey Kong sequel. But there were two other titles that were highly anticipated, and when they came out, they weren't as good as they were supposed to be. The games, Batman Forever and Mortal Kombat 3. So here's George Wood with the scoop.
For all you fans out there, Mortal Kombat is now available on home video. Next, we turn to Mike McKnight for the 411 on the Nintendo Ultra 64. Mike?
If you were disappointed by Mortal Kombat 3, you won't be let down by Killer Instinct on the Nintendo Ultra 64. The Ultra 64 is due out in late April, and it will use Silicon Graphics technology. To hear all about that and more, here's a special video obtained by the Video Game Show that demonstrates the NU64's capabilities.
Good morning, Ed. Oh, good morning, George. George lives here.
Oh, breakfast. Wow. What is this stuff?
This is Spider-Man cereal, George. The brand new cereal from Ralston Foods. It features box art by spectacular Spider-Man artist Sal Buscema. And on the back...
Easily the best PlayStation game of the year. This spy thriller from Konami will keep you on your toes, as gameplay is centered on stealth rather than violence. You want to evade your enemies, not confront them. This is easier said than done. but the game's 10 training modes should give you enough preparation. You'll need it, because even your footprints can get you into trouble if you don't watch out.
Whose footprints are these?
The game is filled with little touches of reality that add a great deal to the depth of the experience. All the weapons are real weapons. Ask the military what a SOCOM is. When you try to infiltrate a nuclear arms base, you can hide in a truck parked near the entrance. Watch what happens when you knock on the box inside.
Huh? What was that noise? Huh?
Metal Gear Solid is so in-depth, you'll be briefed on Alaskan field mice. Follow the mice through the duct system. They're always headed for safety. Inside the base, you'll find a government official held hostage. Your chat with him is short-lived.
So does the White House plan to give in to the terrorist demands?
That's their problem. It has nothing to do with my orders.
But what about the Pentagon?
Pentagon? What is it?
With the dual shock controller, you will actually feel his heart attack as the controller vibrates. Soon after this, another hostage you discover will tell you about the threat of nuclear war.
Listen, have you ever seen a warehouse full of nuclear material?
No.
Drums and drums of nuclear waste stacked this high, as far as you can see, because there's still no real way to dispose of the stuff.
So they just close the lid and try to pretend like it'll go away?
Essentially, yes. And they're not even doing a good job of storing it. Many of the drums are corroded, with nuclear waste seeping out of them.
Unbelievable.
Not only that, but several pounds of muff are reported every year.
Muff?
It stands for material unaccounted for. It proves that there's a large and well-organized black market in nuclear materials. Furthermore, since the end of the Cold War, Russian nuclear engineers in particular are out of work with no way to turn.
You know something's up when this guy has a heart attack too. This can't be for real. What are the odds? Being X-Files graduates, we think it has something to do with implants. You know what they say.
Trust no one, Mr. Mulder.
Well, it's time to wrap up. Let's go over our holiday picks. If you're buying for loved ones, look at the top of the screen to check the age range. Klonoa is a good pick for all ages, but older players might find it too easy. Forsaken 64 is a visual feast for sci-fi buffs. Metal Gear Solid is unquestionably the best PlayStation game around. Tomb Raider 3 is more of the same, but still incredibly exciting. The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time is by far the best Nintendo 64 game ever made by Shigeru Miyamoto or anyone else. With so much to control in the game, the computer gives you a break by controlling all jumps automatically, a first for video games. Resident Evil 2 is scarier than all of this year's teen horror flicks combined. Finishing off the list, Banjo-Kazooie is a great buy for fans of Mario-style games. Turok 2 Seeds of Evil makes the original game look like a one-celled amoeba. Oddworld: Abe's Exodus is a wildly popular game, especially among girls. And lastly, Star Wars Rogue Squadron brings the power of the Force to Nintendo 64. Madden NFL 99 is the best sports game of the year, although some players may prefer the far superior graphics and sound of NFL Quarterback Club 99. Heart of Darkness is a runner-up. By the way, this list is limited to the PlayStation and Nintendo 64. Now that it's time to say goodbye, let's flash back to the past one more time. Hey, you had to be there. Although, Well, nothing really changes, does it? Except for maybe I'm a little scruffier now. Here's a clip from Who Wants to Be a Contestant with host Diane Palangan making a comment on that.
All right, we're going to try again to win. How often does George Wood cut his hair? Now remember, George Wood was a flower too. So
I know.
let's not get too confused on this. So how often would George Wood cut his hair? A, once a month, B, once a year, C, whenever he feels like it, or D, whenever Jim gets a haircut.
Well,
He's a pretty independent guy, and I really think it's whenever he feels like it.
Is that your exact answer? You don't want to take it back? Hello? Hello? Oh, hello. Is this Sandy Bellino? This is Miss Di, the Divine Di, on Who Wants to See My Derriere? Yes, indeed. Well, you've been used as a lifeline, so I have to read the question to you. The question is, who is the best dressed at BCTV? Is it A, Tom Allen, B, Jim Traveland, C, Doug Brotherton, or D, Sandy Bellino? Well, you know, they all have their own unique style.
Yeah, it really is. That's apples and oranges, isn't it?
Apples and oranges, she says.
I'm leaning towards Tom Allen.
She's leaning toward A, Tom Allen. B was Jim Traveland. He's pretty dapper.
No, that is neck and neck.
It's tough, big neck and neck.
I have to reevaluate. I think Jim.
A reevaluation, it's Jim. Is that your, that's your final, eh? She's going with B, Jim Traveland.
Oh, gosh. Well, you know, I know. Come on out. We're ready for you again, Sean.
I'm gonna kill you.
Afterwards. Afterwards.
Okay.
All right, ready? Focus. Okay, Shane, you're an old hand at this. Are you ready to whiz through this?
Yeah.
Okay. Which film combines enhanced live action footage with computer-generated images? Is it A, Dinosaur, B, Tigger Movie, C, Toy Story 2, D?
Well, let me ask you, did you attend the 13th annual BCTV Awards?
Yes, I did.
Well, then, if you were there, why did Ryan Thomas order pizza? Was it A, he needed some fresh meat to pound? B, he secretly wanted a spanking from Mom? C, he thought the food sucked? Or D, because he's just a punk? These are really tough.
They're tough. Well,
because it's probably all of the above.
Well, if that was listed, that would be the answer, but it's not. So now we have to take a choice.
Really
definitely Ryan did a wrestling show, so they could definitely use some fresh meat. I know Mom, you know.
He probably likes to pound on him too.
Yeah, and the food, well, that's up for grabs with the award dinner. But Ryan, knowing Ryan though, I know he's really a punk. So I'm going to go with D.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
Positive. You don't want to take this answer back?
Don't want to take that one back.
Well, that's good. I'm so glad you went with D, because the answer is C.
Oh, no!
He just thought the food sucked. I'm sorry, but you know how they say, third one is charmed, but not for you, charming darling.
Wow. You deserve that one. I won't say it. It's not ringing. All right, let's see if we get it to ring this time. Ah, one ringy dingy. Two ringy dingies. Three. Good evening. May I speak to Marv? This is George Wood with BCTV. How are you? Well, good. We're playing our game show, and we have a question that we think you might be able to help our contestant answer. You want to give it a try? Thanks, Marv. Okay. We're not Marv. Marv? Marv? Marv is turning on his TV. Yep. Marv? We're not, Marv, we're not live. The Allen Pond thing is still finishing off. So, this is going to be taped. This is about movies, so I think you can help. In what year was the Oscar for the best foreign film introduced?
Hi, I'm Connie Carter. For weeks on this show, we have been watching George Wood constantly show his ass.
Connie, you're absolutely right. It's time to revitalize this show with some fresh buns.
Please sign up to be a contestant at FOFTV.com. I hope to see your ass real soon.
Things can get pretty wild around here sometimes. If you think that was something, you should have seen the unedited version. Speaking of that, we're now going to show you one of our more exposing clips. God. That's strange. Where the hell am I? Barbed Wire started out as a comic book from Dark Horse Comics. Now that Pamela Anderson is starring in the movie, Topps Cards has released a trading card set. Here's what we had to say. Pamela Anderson Lee has been busting out all over recently. Not only does she get plenty of exposure as CJ on Baywatch, but now, with her feature film, Barbed Wire, she's even bigger than life. For all the Pam fans out there who just can't get enough of their plastic fantastic goddess, there's one more way to get your hands on the goods. Topps Cards is releasing a 72-card set, fully loaded with slam-bang action scenes taken straight from the movie. This Bad Girl series is full of shots of Pamela Anderson Lee at her gun-toting, butt-kicking best, giving evildoers the what for. As a bonus, each and every photo card back has an extra photo of our heroine. The cards are jam-packed with tidbits, like a movie synopsis, a look at Barb's comic book origins, and fantasies of Barb by some of the hottest artists in comics today. There are 2 subsets and 2 kinds of chase cards to keep collectors and fans really happy. The first one is a 9-card subset of the Bad Girl's beginnings, featuring images from the original Dark Horse Comics covers that launched Barb's career. Dan Lawless and Jeff Albrecht have Barb and the Machine going after the bad guys from Barbed Wire number 4. Barb finally blows away the murderous ignition from Barbed Wire number 6 by Matt Haney and Mike Sellers. Dan Lawless and Jeff Albrecht are at it again, this time in Barbed Wire number 3, where she tries to quit the bounty hunting game. The Barbed Wire Comic Art Gallery has Barb all duded up by some of the industry's best. Joe Lisner gives us an angelic Barb. Walt Simonson has her checking out the scene, while John Bolton's Barb looks good enough to kiss. The 2 levels of chase cards really get the juices flowing. The first is 12 embossed cards of Barb in all her glory, fighting and vamping. The second set is much harder to get. 4 laser-cut Pamela Anderson cards. These foil beauties have various laser-cut effects in them, which really help give you a realistic feel of the action. All of the cards in this premium set are UV-coated front and back for durability and are on the standard card stock. This is a decent card set. The film image transfers are quite clear, and every now and then there's a little touch of graininess, but not enough to be distracting. The comic art is a nice contrast to the movie. You can see how the character's look evolved over a period of time to become what she is today. The Barbed Wire Comic Gallery is my favorite. Here are some beautiful pictures. They really do capture the essence of the character. I would like to see a full set of nothing but these kinds of images. The embossed cards give a texture and feel that make Pamela Anderson Lee stand out more than she probably should. I'm sure certain cards will linger in the sweaty hands of her admirers for a long time. The laser cut cards are interesting. The added dimension to the standard foil is cool. Barbed Wire is a strong female character who deserves to be in the hands of the public. I still feel that Pamela Anderson Lee is too overexposed, but she is good for the character and the cards. If you enjoyed the movie, or even if you didn't, the trading card set is worth checking out. In my book, it's tops. Flights of Fantasy. I'm your host, George Wood. On today's show, we have a blah, blah, blah. That's enough of Pamela Anderson. Our next package of clips has a tribute to the publisher of Mad Magazine. We now have a first look at Mr. Bean, the grossest, most disgusting necro-perv on the planet.
Necro-perv.
What?
People be calling it. What the hell is a necro-perv? Is that somebody like the bodies?
Yep.
Is that part of the movie?
No, but it's GW original.
Well, our first contestant, come on down. Hi.
Hey there.
And you are Diane Palangan. For all those people who don't know her, hi, Diane.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Love your jacket. Who's your tailor?
Oh, it's great, isn't it? Specially made for us. And you have a little kitty, and I believe the little kitty's name is...
This is Mo.
No, and she's one of the ones up for adoption.
Because when she gets spayed, there ain't gonna be no Mo.
Okay, question number 5. A calico cat is almost always A, male, B, female, C, playing for both teams, D, full of cowlicks. This is tough.
This is tough,
Think
but
hard.
Instead of playing for both teams, it should say not playing with a full deck.
Yeah.
Because they really are kind of goofy cats.
Yes, I agree.
Having two female calicos, two calicos myself, they are females, so I would have to venture to say that they would be most always female.
Okay, so Diane, now you do know what this means. This is the 5th question. This is the one that means
I can wipe your little pee-pee off my arm.
Oh, no. Okay, your answer, a calico cat. Oh, please, Mo, don't do that. It's almost always. Please hold it, honey. B, you're saying B, a female, right?
B, female, yes.
Female, that's your...
That is my last and direct final answer.
Okay,
Very wet one at that.
Diane, I'm so happy to tell you, you have won.
Yay!
You have won. You have got the opportunity to get our little Mo
spayed.
And we're going to do it right here today. We have a doctor right off screen. And I'm going to walk you back there. And folks, we're going to go get little Mo spayed.
I'm Sean Benedict, and I'm sitting in for George Wood. Well, that's actually not true. George has been bad lately, and, well, we're making him replace the sets. Anyway, on today's show, we have Final Fantasy VII, GoldenEye, the game, not the movie, the Wildstorm vs. Marvel card set, The Secret of Copland, and our guesses for potential Oscar nominees. Yeah, it's a little early to start talking about the Oscars right now, but there's enough out there that we can start weeding out the bombs. Oh, and naturally, there's more to the show, but we're too lazy to talk about it right now. So let's start the show off by spoiling Copland for you. Let's roll that clip.
In a game characterized by big rallies, the Giants scored 7 times in the first inning off. In the first of the Angels today, Chili Davis hit 2-run homers from either side.
Pull over, NYPD, pull over!
I know what you're thinking. What's the big deal? You didn't spoil anything with this clip. Obviously, you missed it. I've got a spoon here, so open up and we'll spoon feed it to you. Does that look like a machine gun to you? Well, it's not. It's a club. And this is no movie mess-up. That is supposed to be a club. So now you're saying, okay, big deal, there's a club. What's that got to do with the movie? Go see the movie and you'll find out. It's got a lot of really cool twists and turns to it. And speaking of twists and turns,
when one of the greats in comics passed away, we took to the streets to find out what the general public knew. Here's the results.
Excuse me, son.
Yes.
We'd like to know your thoughts on William M. Gaines.
Never heard of him before.
The name Alfred E. Newman ring a bell?
No.
Just for me.
It does for you? Okay.
I'm old enough to remember it.
Your thoughts on the recent passing of William M. Gaines?
William M. Gaines? I don't know, when I was a kid, I used to read the magazine, and I don't know, I came out normal. I mean, I read Mad Magazine, but when I was a kid, but it didn't really warp me out too bad. But basically, I think it's because I became a Christian when I was 16 and gave my heart to Jesus Christ, and that's what made the fundamental difference in my life.
Excuse me, sir. I want to know if we could ask you questions, your thoughts on the passing of William M. Gaines.
I'm going to make no comment.
No comment? Well, does the name Alfred E. Newman ring a bell?
Yeah. Sure.
William M. Gaines was the publisher of Mad Magazine, and he recently passed on, and your thoughts?
Exactly. That's very sad. He was really funny. I remember growing up reading his magazines and getting a kick out of it. I don't know, it lightened up a lot of issues, both in the entertainment areas and the political areas. It was fun.
I think he ought to resign from being police chief because I think he hasn't done a good job there in San Francisco.
Excuse me, I wonder if we could ask your thoughts on the recent passing of William M. Gaines.
Do you have any thoughts on that? Who the hell is William M. Gaines?
Does the name Alfred E. Newman ring a bell?
Oh, man. Oh,
Oh, my hero. I think it's a great tragedy for America, and one of the great intellectual minds of all time has been lost. And, you know, God knows we're having this lunch in honor of his passing, and that's about it.
Any thoughts on who should take over the mantle at MAG?
Ross Perot.
I wonder if we could interrupt your tanning for 1 minute. Get your thoughts on the passing of William M. Gaines.
William Gaines? No real opinion.
Does the name Alfred E. Newman ring a bell?
Sure. Looks like Ross Perot.
William M. Gaines is dead, and we're just wondering, what do you think the future of Mad Magazine will be without the guiding spirit behind Alfred E. Newman?
Well, if Ross Perot gets elected, then we've got Mad Magazine right back. So.
Stan Lee, here we go.
Obviously, it was a great shock and a great tragedy. Bill was one of the real geniuses in our field. And, you know, there are a lot of talented people, but he was also one hell of a nice guy. And the proof of how nice a fella is how his staff feel about him, the people who work for him, and I think they all loved him.
I grew up with Mad Magazine, and it's an interesting magazine, and I think it contributes to the imagination and the what's the word I'm looking for? Creativity of the young minds of today.
You know, it was funny because when I first knew him, he was totally different than the Bill Gaines that everybody knew. He was a very straight, square guy. I mean, he wore these lovely business suits and a crew cut, and he looked like your friendly neighborhood accountant, you know. Then all of a sudden, it seems overnight, one day, he became the world's richest hippie, you know.
I'm afraid anything I say is going to sound like a complete cliche. It's a tremendous loss. What I just hope eventually is that people will not only look up to him for Mad, but will kind of regress some years and, you know, see the problems and conflicts he had with censorship. So in that regard, I mean, not only was he effective with Mad, but he was a pioneer.
He was a great guy, and he lived every minute, and he loved every minute, and he loved doing Mad, and he was a real character, and everybody liked him.
We have an interview with the producer of the special edition of Star Wars, where he tells us about the defining moment in the movie.
I think for me, one of the most defining moments of Star Wars is when there's a moment when Luke leaves his room and he goes out into the crater and he looks out at the two suns of Tatooine. There's just something in that shot. It was so simple, but you could see all the yearnings of every young boy and every young girl. And I think that permeates the whole films because it really is a voyage of discovery. It's a rite of passage. And I think that is timeless.
All right. All right. All right. That's Judi Dench and GoldenEye. I've been having so much trouble with this intro that I'm going to just read it to you. Still. Thank goodness I don't have to do that anymore. Oh, wait a minute. I still am. Oh, well. I guess we'll try for something better next time on part 2 of the best of Flights of Fantasy. I'm your host, George Wood. See you then. Maybe, maybe not. Welcome to this 100th edition of Flights of Fantasy. On today's show, we're going to travel back into time to show you how it all began. I'm going to go to the storeroom and see if I can find some of our old shows. On them, we're going to have the first appearance of Ed, Jeff's first interview, Tom's first video game review, and all kinds of other really cool segments that'll make you wonder how we even got to where we are today. Oh, wow, here's our stuff. Oh, 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 oh. Well, what do you know? Looky here. Here's our first show. This is the gem that got it all started. Hello, my name is George Wood. and I am the host of Flights of Fantasy. This is the first television show dedicated to the world of collectible arts, comic books, cards, science fiction, horror, and the other aspects of our hobby. Our first guest to pop in is Scott Hanna. Well, I wanted you to be our first guest because you're somebody who's in the business. And so I would think it would be real important on our first show to give everybody a feeling as to what the industry is about, what kinds of things they can expect, and the sorts of things that are happening, the trends that we can expect to see in the future.
Well, there's a lot of exciting things that have been happening with comics. Within the last 10 years, the industry started giving more royalties and other perks to the artists and writers to put out a much better, much glossier, much finer product. As you can see some of these samples here.
Today we're sitting here with Joey Skerdak. He's the winner of our first Flights of Fantasy Fan Fave Award. Why do you like Defiant so much?
Well, I like the Defiant company because it's a new company that has original ideas. It's not like the other companies that we keep repeating all the ideas over and over again. Defiant has original ideas with new characters, and Jim Shooter's really cool.
Okay, well then, there's going to be lots of mayhem, carnage, damage, blood and guts, all the fun stuff that people like to see from the Eternal Warrior in glorious, painted style.
I would have to say Star Wars gets the Sting Award for staying power.
Yeah.
I mean, it's eternal. It's popular in the it was popular in the 70s, it was popular in the 80s. Star Wars is going to be popular in the 90s and on beyond 2000 plus, whatever. The movies are coming back out, new movies in 1996 or 7. These will be good.
Introducing on Flights of Fantasy, our first Black Hole Awards. This is the notorious award for our favorite lame-o characters. The first one on our list is Sleepwalker. This one sucks. The next character who deserves to go into the black hole is Guy Garner. So as far as I'm concerned, this one sucks. The next character who deserves to go down the black hole is Ant-Man. Chuck him in the black hole.
All right, our next guest character is Senor Muerte.
Senor Muerte definitely sucks, and the whole comic book industry handling of minority women, non-white male, certain age superheroes also sucks. Yeah, so this gets the double suck award.
They gotta get their act together.
Really.
Voice Man, I think he blows.
I agree. He's a Sony reject.
Get him out of here. Bye.
In our opinion, the lamest character that we could find is a Doughboy. Now, look at this. Doughboy. He looks like a cow flop.
That's Doughboy.
I mean, this guy is so bad.
Can you see it?
There's absolutely nothing that you can say. He is this huge blob.
That's his eye right there. See, that's an eye. That right there is an eye. He actually has a face. He has no intelligence. He can't create or anything on his own. Somebody can command him, like maybe Voice Man could command him to turn into a cake, and then maybe Senor Muerte could gorge himself to death by eating Doughboy, and maybe Senor Muerte could then explode and
have dough pellets flop on everybody.
And kill all Voice Man, so we get rid of all three of them. But yeah, Doughboy has to be the lamest.
So this is it, kids. Find somebody lamer than Doughboy and be able to prove it, and we'll see what we can do. Welcome, video gamers, on another fantastic segment of Flights of Fantasy. Today we have our video guru, Mike Groves, here to show us Sonic Hedgehog 1 and 2. He's
is the regular Sonic. If you want to go and do a level select, go to title screen. Go up, down, left, and right. You should hear the chime. This shows Sonic in his final fight against Dr. Robotnik. Watch very carefully, as positioning is crucial. Avoiding all those energy dots that come out. As you notice here, Sonic gets crushed. 19, 65, 9, and 17, each followed by the C button on your Genesis control pad.
So you would actually punch in 19C, then 65C, then 9C, and 17C.
That's correct. And you must do each one simultaneously, and it must be absolutely correct.
Hi, I'm Jeff Archer, and this week on Pens, Ink, and Balloons, we're going to be visiting Kurt Busiek
Kubiak, who is the author of The Marvels, a brand new and a fantastic magazine by Marvel. Kurt is a very personable person, and I had the opportunity to spend a good 20 minutes with this man.
The process started rolling with the artist, Alex Ross. He wanted to do a fully painted anthology of stories about various Marvel heroes that he particularly liked for one reason or another. He called me because he was looking for a way to break in back into comics and get something going, and he mentioned this idea, and I said, well, you know, sure, but 10 heroes Alex likes does not make a good logo for a comic book.
This is Ron Avery of the Journal Newspapers with a special report. Adaptation is the name of the game for long-lived comic strips. Among the oldest still appearing in the daily newspapers is Barney Google and Snuffy Smith, created by Billy DeBeck way back in 1919 and continued to this.
First-time readers will find this the perfect opportunity to begin following his swashbuckling exploits. Long-time fans will not be disappointed either. The stories will remain faithful to the established lore, but will fill in many missing details. Issue 1 recounts the Battle of Veneria.
We'll probably do it again later. Well, I hope for those of you who are watching, we didn't get too confusing. As you can see, we're really excited about our hobby. We really want to give people the information that they need to make good choices, both in entertainment and in value. And as time goes on, we get more organized and we get smoother. I think you'll be very pleased with what we have to say.
That's who we're going to talk about, Malibu Comics.
That's right, and I'm sort of part of the Ultraverse. As you can see today, I'm immersed into these comics.
Well, we're going to immerse everyone in the comics today. We're devoting the entire show to this, and we want to start telling folks about it.
Vince, that new dummy cam is great.
Yeah, it'll sure give people a whole new outlook on what it's like when you don't wear a safety belt.
Well, at least we're a little more respectable than we were then. Then again, maybe not. The rest of the show, we're going to show you some of our wildest, our worst, and our funniest clips that have ever been on Flights of Fantasy. We're going to start off with this doozy.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. George is going to tell us about Sludge.
Sludge is the Ultraverse's version of the brutish, hulking monster. He started life as Detective Frank Hogue, who was a corrupt cop on the take from the mob for years and years and years. That extra grand to look the other way during drug deals, you know, always came in handy.
Oh, sure.
When the mob wanted him to kill a fellow cop, though, he refused. He was gunned down instead, and as a lesson, left for dead. As Hogue lay dying in the sewer, something incredible happens. Unknown to him, toxic, nasty, disgusting, experimental tissue regeneration chemicals were dumped into the sewer as well.
Shades of Spider-Man.
As the solutions misinterpret the organic components of sewage for Frank's body, his body repairs itself and begins to heal by adding the sewage content to his cell structure.
Happens every day.
Every day, every day.
Welcome back to the big program. We have a special treat for you today. I hold here in my right hand the first annual Marvel Survey results. The first annual Marvel Survey appeared in Marvel Comics recently. It's 10 questions asked to Marvel fans, and George, can we have some first annual Marvel Survey results music, please?
Sure, Ed.
Okay, here we go. Number 1, the X-Men are currently published monthly. Would you prefer the X-Men as a bi-weekly title every 2 weeks, or should it stay monthly? Now, don't the X-Men pretty much come out every day now? I mean, we have X-Men, we have Uncanny X-Men, we have X-Men Classic, X-Men the early years, X-Men Unlimited, X-Men Adventures, X-Factor, X-Force, Excalibur. I mean, do we really need another title? And the answer is pretty much no. A small majority said, no, we want the current monthly frequency, and about 40% said that they would like more Mutant Mayhem.
After 100 copies and retails for $99.95, and is worth every penny of it for those of you who like tragic action heroes and lifelike modeling. SHADOWHAWK is a good example of Geometric Design's leadership in the garage kit industry. The term garage kit refers to limited edition, hand-poured resin or soft vinyl kits. The Nintendo Ultra 64 is scheduled for an April 1996 release, leaving the Christmas season wide open to competitors. But who will win this Christmas? Sony and its PlayStation? Atari and the Jaguar CD? 3DO and its new M2? Or Sega and the Saturn system? These are all newly emerging systems that are more advanced than 16 bits. Which advanced system will win the war? Our answer after this. So which will it be? PlayStation, Jaguar, M2, or Saturn? The answer is none of the above. There's another advanced gaming system that will win the war, and it's Virtual Boy, the 32-bit, $180 portable virtual reality gaming system from Nintendo. We think the PlayStation will get second place, then Saturn, then Jaguar CD, and then M2.
And, you know, French fries for lunch and a Big Mac and thick, juicy steaks in the evening.
Right.
Rude needs such input. He's been looking for centuries for the power that'll sustain him forever, because he is not necessarily immortal.
No.
Over time, his voracious cannibalism has brought many tribes to extinction. He just eats them up.
Right.
You know, what can you say?
Whew. What a stinker. I'm glad we got the bad stuff out of the way first. Stay tuned. When we come back, things are only going to get better. Welcome back to Flights of Fantasy. Sometimes in all our craziness, we go a little bit too far, and people call us on it. Here's some of the best stuff that let me shoot. Let's see. How, was that going good though? Yeah. Okay. We go a little bit too far and we get called on it. Here's some of our wildest stretches. Okay, ready? Yeah. Welcome back to Flights of Fantasy. Sometimes in all our craziness, we go just a little bit too far for good taste, and we do get called on it. Here's a few of our wildest stretches. Enjoy. Since SHADOWHAWK and Vampirilla have different audiences, these books could open up new worlds for fans who have never read either one, as well as add to the present SHADOWHAWK Vampirilla fans' devotion. This is an imaginary story that gives the writers lots of latitude for stretching our conceptions and should appeal to all who like to devour comics. It's a story with bite, and after reading it, you'll definitely feel drained. This is George Wood fading out from Flights of Fantasy. Remember, in this dark and violent future, the price of failure is death. Acclaim Comics introduces the Killer Instinct comic based on the mega-hit video game in this exclusive edition found only as a supplement to the Nintendo Power magazine. This 16-page lead-in to the 3-part miniseries is written by Bloodshot's Mark Moretti and penciled by Paul Galassi. I hope this series is better than this preview. It looks like a rush job to me. Orchid's features change constantly throughout the book. She's also over-endowed even by comic book male fantasy standards, and her anatomy shifts constantly. This wouldn't be Baywatch, though, without the hunks and babes, and baby, it's loaded. A total of 23 pages is devoted to CJ. There are so many photo spreads of Pamela Anderson Lee that the mind wobbles at just the mere sight of her. Talk about catching an eyeful. This is just what the doctor ordered. If the Barbed Wire movie gets your juices flowing, and you want to know more about the bombastic beauty, look no further than Dark Horse Comics. The movie is faithfully adapted in 2 formats, a 4-color comic and a black and white magazine. Pamela graces the covers of both, and there's an almost life-size poster of her in the magazine as an added bonus. This is way too much of a good thing. I still wonder how she stays in place in that outfit. She's got quite a designer, whoever it is. Welcome back to Flights of Fantasy. Barbed Wire started out as a comic book from Dark Horse Comics. Now that Pamela Anderson is starring in the movie, Topps Cards has released a trading card set. Here's what we had to say. Pamela Anderson Lee has been busting out all over recently. Not only does she get plenty of exposure as CJ on Baywatch, but now, with her feature film, Barbed Wire, she's even bigger than life. For all the Pam fans out there who just can't get enough of their plastic fantastic goddess, there's one more way to get your hands on the goods. The embossed cards give a texture and feel that make Pamela Anderson Lee stand out more than she probably should. I'm sure certain cards will linger in the sweaty hands of her admirers for a long time. The laser cut cards are interesting. The added dimension to the standard foil is cool. Barbed Wire is a strong female character who deserves to be in the hands of the public. I still feel that Pamela Anderson Lee is too overexposed, but she is good for the character and the cards. The artwork is exquisite. At first glance, we see the customary Royo trademarks, a stunning human, male or female, in a fantastic setting. The bodies, usually toned to perfection, are poised for action. All of his women are world-class beauties. Once you spend some time with a royal piece, the magic begins.
For the first time ever, Flights of Fantasy reviews a product that's edible and designed for fans of the fantastic. Spider-Man, the cereal. First it was a hit comic book, then it was a hit animated series. Now it's a part of your complete breakfast. Here's a fun game. Try to figure out what Spider-Man related objects these marshmallows are supposed to be. I couldn't figure it out either, so I had to use the handy key on the side of the box. The cereal itself, though, is a rice-based cereal similar to Crispix. And like Crispix, it's crispy in milk.
Good morning, Ed.
Oh, good morning, George. George lives here.
Oh, breakfast. Wow. What is this stuff?
This is Spider-Man cereal, George. The brand new cereal from Ralston Foods. It features box art by spectacular Spider-Man artist Sal Buscema. And on the back, it's the Spidey store. All kinds of stuff that you can send away for when you send in UPC codes.
Wow, there's a Spider-Man study kit. Neat. A Spider-Man cereal bowl. Hey, Ed, look at this. Spider-Man cartoon maker. Cool. There's Spider-Man magazines. And Stick, a Spider-Man Klingon. All kinds of fun stuff.
Yeah, and it's a pretty good cereal, too, George.
Oh, well, you know, I don't care what it tastes like. What do you get for free?
Well, let's see. Hey, look. It's a Spider-Man Fleer Ultra card. I got the lizard.
Ooh, I wonder what I'll get.
I don't know. If you'd like to get your own Spider-Man cereal, you'll find it clinging to the wall of your friendly neighborhood supermarket.
Ed, what are these marshmallows? Capcom's Resident Evil looks to be the best video game out so far this year. It's definitely the best game for the Sony PlayStation. It's got a great cinematic feel, it's got lots of puzzles, and it's got wonderful zombie smashing. Violence is definitely a big part of this game, so viewer discretion is advised. here's a quick peek at Nintendo's other popular games. Illusion of Gaia, a role-playing game along the lines of Chrysalis, is a story of a young boy named Will who sets out to find his lost father. As in many games of this type, you'll travel to another dimension or world to complete your quest. Link's Awakening may be the best Game Boy Adventure game of all time. What makes this game so unique is the constant humor that Nintendo's Dan Osen has incorporated into the text. Link is traveling on a big ship when a storm comes. Lightning strikes one of the masts and the ship goes under. Link is washed ashore and discovered by a little girl. The mystery and intrigue develop from here. As you explore the island, you'll meet many interesting characters, an owl, a bow wow, and countless others. The characters are a key element in the game's extraordinary success. This outstanding quality, however, really began with The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past for the Super NES. This longtime favorite among gamers takes place before the two NES Zelda titles. Link battles Aghanim, an evil sorcerer, and his boss and master manipulator Ganon. Ganon may be the most famous video game villain since Bowser. He will stop at nothing to keep you from rescuing Princess Zelda and closing the entrance to the Dark World. Super Mario World was the first Super NES game ever. Bowser once again kidnaps Princess Toadstool, forcing Mario to take action. The lovable new Yoshi dinosaur made his debut in this game. Mario Fever continues in Super Mario All-Stars. This game has great value because it's really 4 games in one. The Lost Levels, plus the first 3 NES games, but with 16-bit quality graphics. Super Mario All-Stars reintroduces players to these classics, making them want to beat each game all over again. Tetris is the classic Russian puzzle game that made Game Boy so popular with adults. Bricks called tetrads fall into the bottom of the screen, and you must rotate them as they fall in order to place them in interlocking positions. In other words, don't leave any holes. Try to make solid horizontal lines. The more lines you make, the more points and surprises will come your way. Kirby's Adventure is the NES sequel to Game Boy's Kirby's Dream Land. Like most Nintendo games, there are secrets hidden anywhere and everywhere. Kirby is a little star whose weapon is his vacuum suck power. With the Nintendo Ultra 64, Nintendo continues to produce fun, high-quality, graphics-intensive video games using the best of today's and tomorrow's technology. Well, that's it for this 100th edition of Flights of Fantasy. Tune in next time. Hey, Sean, come on, stop it! Tune in next time when we get back to our normal format with Star Fox 64. I'm George Wood. I'll see you in the future.
Math, a 4-letter word.
You ever think about getting remarried? My wife's dead. Hence the word remarried. My wife's dead. Well, I think that's a super philosophy, Sean. I mean, that way you could actually go through the rest of your life without ever really knowing anybody.
It's finally happened. Oh, shit. It's finally happened. Metropolis's most eligible bachelor has tied the knot. About time, too. After a 60-year courtship, a 6-year engagement, and a 3-month breakup, Lois and Clark are now husband and wife. An event this momentous doesn't go without fanfare, and we get to see it all, right here in the landmark special, Superman, the Wedding Album. This massive 96-page one-shot arrives in October, right around the same time that Lois and Clark get married on the TV show, and is much more satisfying than the quickie we got on TV. This triple-size special is an integral part of the ongoing comic book continuity and not an adaptation of the TV show. When Lois told Clark she needed time to herself, she left Metropolis to become the Daily Planet's foreign correspondent in Superman 115. In Superman 118, The Quest of Lois Lane, while on the tail of a notorious drug dealer, Lois goes to the mountains of Butron, where her tough journalistic exterior finally yields to the wisdom of a mysterious mountain priest, who guides her up a sheer cliff in both the real world and in her own mind. She realizes she's much happier with Clark than when she's alone. In the same issue, Superman talks over his problems with Wonder Woman as the scientists at Star Labs attempt to figure out why his powers haven't returned once the Sun Eater was defeated. This sets up the events for the big day. Under one cover, Lois tricks the drug dealers to heading to Metropolis and then foils their dastardly plan. Clark is surprised and relieved at Lois's return, and he tells her of current events. They do resolve their differences, and he proposes all over. No doubt this time, it's for real. We follow Clark and Lois throughout the next few days. We get lots of family fun and frolic as they go through the wedding plans. We become part of the shower, go tuck shopping with Pa Kent and the guys, and see Lois trying on numerous wedding gowns. Lois has a dickens of a time apartment hunting and has a heart-to-heart with Ma Kent. Maggie tells her a Superman story, and Clark deals with the bad guys in Maxima. The bachelor party is held at Bibbo's bar, and while at her party, Lois puts a masher in his place. Batman helps Clark out of a jam, and then they have a long discussion to make sure the groom has thought everything through and that he is doing the right thing. Of course he is. It's Clark and Lois. Batman gives Clark 2 special gifts, and Clark resolves a problem with Jimmy. At the rehearsal dinner, Jimmy apologizes to Lori. We meet some important friends of Lois, and her dad makes a jerk out of himself. As usual, the wedding day is bumpy. Mr. Mxyzptlk annoys Clark and gives him a dire warning. Lex Luthor isn't happy either, but at long last, the deed is done. It's a fun read, and will bring a tear to your eye if you're so inclined. Being a jam-style book, it showcases the collaborative efforts of all 5 regular Superman creative teams. Action Comics, writer David Michelinie, artist Tim Grummett, and Dennis Rodier. Adventures of Superman, writers Carl Kessel, artists Stuart Immonen, and Jose Marzan. Superman, writer Dan Jurgens, artist Ron Frenz, and Joseph Rubinstein. Superman Man of Steel, writer Louise Simonson, artists John Bodanib and Dennis Janke. Superman Man of Tomorrow, writer Roger Stern, and artists Paul Ryan and Brett Breeding. Previous artists John Byrne, Terry Austin, Jerry Ordway, George Perez, and others make a return appearance. There's also a previously unpublished story sequence by the late, great Kurt Swan. Because of the jam format, the art varies in consistency by creative teams. It's rough only in a few places. It was written by Roger Stern, who's been waiting for this day a very long time, and does a great job of storytelling. In keeping with the tradition started by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, with the wedding of Sue Storm and Reed Richards, all of the creative people are guests at the wedding. Although the Lois and Clark TV show put the wedding events into motion, the Superman Wedding Album lets everyone be a part of this happy occasion. This is one comic that will please anyone who has a little bit of romance inside of them, young and old alike. In a year chock full of anniversaries and special events, Marvel is celebrating its acquisition of the Star Trek license from Paramount in a big way. Not only will they be taking over all of the comic book adventures of your favorite Star Trek crews, they're also adding to the new frontier with the Star Trek X-Men comic. History is being made with this mind-blowing 64-page, one-of-a-kind special. Captain Kirk, Mr. Spock, Bones, Uhura, Chekhov, Sulu, and Scotty come face-to-face with Wolverine, Jean Grey, Beast, Cyclops, Storm, and Gambit. A spatial anomaly brings the Enterprise back to Delta Vega. As they investigate, an alien ship pops out of it and is destroyed, but not before Spock detects life aboard. Suddenly, a much larger ship bursts from the anomaly. Instead of firing a weapon, the Enterprise is met by Gladiator of the Shi'ar Imperial Guard, who not so politely tells them to leave. Our mutants barely make it out of the destroyed ship and start to assess their situation. Gambit was injured in the transport, and Storm and Beast work their way to sickbay. They meet a surprised Leonard McCoy, and the two medical men get to work. The rest of the X-Men are met by Spock, and when logic doesn't work, Wolverine finds out about Vulcan fighting techniques. The groups finally meet, and they start to make plans. We also meet Deathbird and the cause of the disturbance. Proteus has combined with the body of Gary Mitchell, creating a new life form. Gary Proteus shows his hand, and like all cosmic bad guys, he wants to reshape reality in his own image. Very familiar sounding. Spock and Beast set up survival plans while the X-Men barely survive a battle with the Entity. Kirk gets Jean to do her version of a mind meld so he can talk to Gary and convince him to do the right thing. The Enterprise attempts to destroy the rift, stinging the bad guy into having the sense to stop before he does any more damage. Gary lets the folks on the planet destroy the vessel, and Spock, Bishop, and Beast clobber the anomaly. The X-Men and Deathbird's group form an uneasy alliance to get home to our time, reality, and the parting words are spoken. New friends are made as we continue to journey where no man has gone before. The Star Trek X-Men special was written by Scott Lobdell and drawn by Mark Silvestri and the gang at Top Cow Studios. Although this improbable team-up book is a full-fledged marketing gimmick, it is worth the effort. Scott Lobdell is one of the best writers of the X-Men, and Mark Silvestri is a fan-fave X-Men alumnus. Both know the characters inside and out, and that's what makes this book so much fun to read. Star Trek and the X-Men are character-driven more so than plot-driven, so there's a solid emphasis on interpersonal relations and internal conflicts. There are a lot of similarities between the two teams on an individual basis and in the way they operate together. Jean Grey and Spock have similar gifts, which intermesh nicely in the story. Both are members of teams that work so closely with each other they operate like well-oiled machines. Lobdell has done an excellent job of storytelling by weaving together a plot that incorporates the best of both worlds. Each character has been carefully addressed, and no member of either team is ignored. We have known these characters so long that they seem real to us. Lobdell captures them flawlessly. Kirk makes a play for Jean. There's a cute scene with Dr. McCoy and the Beast, and the final argument on the bridge will transport you right back to the golden days of Star Trek. Mark Silvestri's art works perfectly within the story as well. He gets the human features of the Star Trek crew down really well, while the X-Men haven't looked this good in years. Besides the main story, there's a pinup gallery featuring characters from both teams. There's also a 16-page preview of Marvel's other brand new Star Trek titles, including Voyager Deep Space Nine and Starfleet Academy. Star Trek X-Men is being released to celebrate Marvel's 35th anniversary and Star Trek's 30th anniversary. It's a good present for fans of all ages. Well, to get out of here.
It was the end of a millennium, a time of death, a time of rebirth. But with the death of Flights of Fantasy, a new show was born, and they called it FOFTV.com.
Welcome to FOFTV.com. I'm George Wood, coming to you via the internet.
This show will be a little different from Flights of Fantasy. There's no flash and no hype, just a quick introduction to all the latest video games, with more detailed information available on our website at www.flightsoffantasy.com. Let's begin the September edition with Squaresoft's Final Fantasy VIII. I'm going to start out by taking you through this first part of the game step by step. You begin with Squall, an antisocial garden military trainee who is yet to meet the love of his life. First off, if this storyline is truly to reach epic levels, then I hope one of the lovers dies. From Shakespeare to the English Patient to Titanic, death has proven to be the most effective instrument of high romantic drama. As you can see, the full motion video is impressive, but sometimes the characters feel dead inside. They're too mechanical. Renoa's eyes aren't lively enough, and Squall's face shows no character. He's over-idealized, and the emptiness he feels inside isn't quite captured in his eyes and facial expressions. Perhaps that will change. If you think Squall looks young, check out Zell, the ultimate geekazoid. Look how he smiles right into the camera. Can you get any cheesier than that? Oh well, when you're in class, go into the tutorial in the study panel on your desk. Here you can download your first two Guardian Forces, or GFs. A Guardian Force is a powerful mythical creature, or spirit, which casts and defends against certain types of magic. Shiva's elemental magic is ice, so she's effective against fire enemies. Once you download the GFs, leave the classroom. When you run into Selphie, tell her you don't have the time to give her a tour, and then head in the direction from which she came. Notice the guy on the right. He'll give you 7 magic cards for later use. Take the cards and go down the elevator. On the next floor, keep walking out toward the screen until you find Quistis, your teacher. Talk to her and then leave the irritating music of Balam Garden. Welcome to the Overworld, home of dated PlayStation graphics. If you look at the ocean and face left, you'll spot a cave behind a small forest area. Go there to fight Ifrit, the fire boss. If you beat him, you can equip him as a GF. You will quickly learn the only way to cast non-GF magic spells is to draw the spells from your enemies while in battle. Personally, I like this system a lot. It gives weaker characters something productive to do while you wait for the impending doom of your character's GF. Sometimes only one GF will be effective on a larger enemy. In Final Fantasy VIII, once you draw a magic spell, you can either store it or cast it. Therefore, enemies with cure spells can actually help you heal yourself. The junction system is confusing at first, but you should get the hang of it in about 30 minutes. The menu system could be much more organized, especially the sub-menus, which are opened by pressing X while on another screen. If you don't read the mandatory in-game tutorials, you'll never know they exist. For every con, there is a pro, however. One con is that the status screen does not show which GFs are equipped. One pro is that item and magic inventory lists are now composed of pages. No more endlessly scrolling item lists. For extended critical analysis of this game, visit flightsoffantasy.com, where we discuss the pros and cons of the junction system, the pacing problems of the battle system left over from Final Fantasy VII, and some minor story quirks. Final Fantasy VIII is a must-buy. It's not perfect, and as of yet, the story is more plot-driven than character-driven, but this game is perhaps the most engaging RPG of all time. The easy difficulty level allows you to freely enjoy the momentum of the story above all else. While traditional RPG elements like armor and money are less apparent in this title, it's a nice change of pace without them. That doesn't mean we don't want to see them again. Look for continued coverage of this game soon. Oh, by the way, if Square doesn't add voiceovers to Final Fantasy IX, I'm committing suicide. I hate text. The other big RPG this year was Star Ocean.
Worthy of Best Picture. We recommend seeing it twice, though, to get the full impact.
When I read the script, I was impressed. I was impressed with the beginning of the film. In fact, I'm overwhelmed by it. I think this is the single most finest work done on American Indians by Hollywood ever.
And for all you film critics who say that Pocahontas is not one of Disney's better films, and now we're going to power up the Virtual Boy. Virtual Boy has three major components: the stand, the head unit, and the controller. The stand is packed flat, so you want to take the stand, spread it open, and then set it firmly on the table with the feet facing forward for support. The head unit has got to be connected with the controller, so insert the controller into the spot on the head unit, and you're ready to go. Now, take your head unit, place it into the support bracket. You want to be very careful and do it gently from the back. So you tilt it in first, then push it down. There's a little spring in the back here that you can push down to open up the support bracket so it doesn't go in tightly. Release the spring, and then gently tighten it up with the tension control knob here on the side. Once you feel tension, just turn it slightly upwards until it catches. You don't need a lot of tension here. It just needs to support itself. The next thing you want to do is load in your batteries. Your batteries are in the controller, the front panel. Press the panel down, gently push it up, and your batteries will load into the slot here, 3 up and 3 down. Push it down, click it in place, and then you're ready to go. The final thing is to put your game cartridge into place. The game cartridge goes into the slot underneath the Virtual Boy. Now you have to be careful when you push the game cartridge in. You want to make sure that it connects firmly all the way in the back, because if it doesn't connect properly, when you turn it on, you won't get anything. So you want to make sure that the game cartridge is in place properly, so when you turn it on, you hear it. Virtual Boy does not have a video output port because it would only send out the signal of one of the layers of the 3D graphics. Remember, the images of Virtual Boy are created by your eyes, which combine two separately projected LED images from both sides. What we're showing you here is some exclusive footage of some of the upcoming Virtual Boy games. We obtained this footage with our cameras at E3, so please be aware that the images captured here do not in any way recreate the actual three-dimensional elements of the game's graphics and gameplay. So far, we've played Mario's Tennis, Galactic Pinball, Red Alarm, and Tolero Boxer, so stick around and see our ratings on all these games and more.
of Silicon Cinema. It makes me feel I can shoot bubbles.
Good. Okay.
Now, let's go to the
We don't have much time.
And welcome to another edition of Silicon Cinema. I'm Michael Burns, your host, and this is Ryan Thomas, my co-host. So we're going on to Shenmue now.
Shenmue.
The guy kind of. This game sucks. Let's play like a better game. Let's with like action and stuff. You're snowboarding, but on the asphalt. You're asphalt skiing. I mean snowboarding. I actually stole this.
Why don't you play this?
God, borrowed this game.
Right there.
Burns, shut up for a second. I'm gonna be a nice kid and let you play the game because I suck at these kind of games.
Okay.
So
no questions.
You are a real spaz.
No. I've heard that once before. But he was an employee. All right, Michael Burns, so what are you doing here, buddy?
Well, I'm getting into the Shenmue thing.
Shenmue, buddy, what are you doing with Shenmue?
So I'm gonna pass over this here controller. You play.
Okay.
Are we playing now? Is it?
Yes, we are. Let's get to the game.
Really?
Whoa.
You know, one time I got stuck in an elevator, but they helped me. So tell me, what are you doing here? And then we're gonna do like a death match, right?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes,
you didn't tell me. What are we doing here? What level do you want to do?
We're good, dude. I've heard from a reliable source like me. It's very December 16th, 1986.
I hit retry. Darn.
You
See,
did?
why don't you do that?
I hit continue.
You hit retry. You're not supposed to hit retry.
I hit the X button.
That's retry.
No, the circle is
Shut
retry. Okay. Want to do a survival?
No.
I see.
The danger arouses in me.
What? I didn't. Let me get these itches.
Well, I'm gonna go one.
Next to. Point of view. Just skip through that. Proceed. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, hit it with your axe.
Well, I believe I'm gonna leave the village now and go to Snowhead.
What?
Snowhead.
Is that some sort of new teenage slang?
No, I don't think it is.
Now, where is Link P?
Excuse me?
We're gonna pop this bad boy in and give it a little spinaroo. Ha ha!
Now you're seeing it with the dog person and get out my Jesus!
Now, could you please explain a little more of the motivation of the characters, the story, and the...
I can shoot bubbles.
Good. Where do they?
So might say, ik ben now's my house.
Yeah, sometimes. Hey, blow up the blimp. You get like a special thing if you blow up the blimp.
Really?
Yeah.
Right now we're trying to sneak into the play that
The redcoats are coming!
I'd say either the bazooka or the sniper rifle.
Really? Hold that
Yes.
for me.
Sure.
The bazooka?
they're arguing now.
Yeah, plus, I'm not sure exactly.
The multi-explosion.
Oh, the cluster grenades.
Yeah, that took off my pants. Well, what happened to the wind?
Well, I think that guy was making the wind. I think he was making the wind.
Oh, by blowing?
Now,
I like birds.
NFL Blitz blasts its way onto the blundering Nintendo 64. Midway's Gex 64 gets goofy. Tales of Destiny fills the RPG void, and Beanie Babies make a triumphant return to the show. Plus, wait till you see our GoldenEye marathon. It's all here on episode 153 of Flights of Fantasy. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, George Wood. The fall floodgates are open. Metal Gear Solid is finally in the stores. Expect our review in the next episode. For now, though, we'll evaluate Midway's Triple Punch with Gex 64 and 2 versions of NFL Blitz. Gex 64 is incredibly close to the PlayStation version released earlier this year. And for the first time ever, we were shocked. Literally, the value is cut in half. That's it for this edition of the Beanie Baby Report. Next time we'll talk about those wonderful tush tags and have more Beanie news. Speaking of collectibles, the women of Bond trading cards are here. Are you fond of Bond? You'd better be, because we've got the trading cards, the movie, the video game, and the music video, all in a row, all on this show. Bond fans rejoice. Inkworks has made movie-related trading cards a lot more collectible with their 007 Women of James Bond card series. This oversized 72 card set is packed with goodies, luscious photos of all those lovely and deadly Bond women, from the first, Ursula Andress, to the most recent, Michelle Yeoh and Terry Hatcher. The all-female set amply displays the Bond women's attributes, both good and evil. The subsets include Deadlier Than the Male, women who flat out tried to kill Bond. The Professionals, these women are all pros, agents, that is. Affairs to Remember and Dangerous Liaisons offer up the rest of Bond's conquest. All the Bonds are represented in movie scenes in the Nobody Does It Better section. The Gathering of Angels has group shots of some of the lovely ladies poised for action. The 3 levels of chase cards add more spice to the set. The first level, Bond's Best, features 3 glossy beauties with a historical significance. Check out Diana Rigg as the one and only Mrs. James Bond. The second bonus set features women from Dr. No and Goldfinger. Dig the psychedelic foil treatment. The final chase card is a double embossed mystery character. It reveals the name of this actress, who had a cameo appearance in GoldenEye. The production values of this set are excellent. The cards are full bleed, UV coated front and back. The photos are clear with very little grain, and the colors are reasonably vibrant. Commentary on the back of the cards gives insights to the movies and fleshes out the character. After all, it wouldn't be Bond without Pussy Galore, Plenty O'Toole, Holly Goodhead, and Octopussy. Lots to drool over. Cinematic cheesecake. The longest-running movie franchise makes for one of the most interesting and varied card sets that movie buffs and even non-movie buffs will enjoy for years to come. Pick them up while you can. In GoldenEye, film number 17 of the James Bond action series, Agent 007, played this time by new face Pierce Brosnan, tries to stop a group of Russian terrorists and an English trader from controlling a satellite called GoldenEye, which has the power to wipe out anything electrical in a given area. The English trader hopes to get revenge on England by wiping out its computerized financial market. GoldenEye starts out smashingly, with lots of gunfire, a big explosion, and a narrow escape. After all that excitement, though, the next 30 minutes is a bit slower, adding a sort of moodiness to the film as we wait to see what direction the plot will take. The film regains the components of breathtaking adventure just in time for the second hour, which includes a hilarious tank chase through St. Petersburg that's as good as anything in the classic Bond adventure Goldfinger. This scene is just one example of where GoldenEye uses great humor to make the movie even more enjoyable. GoldenEye boasts many things. The acting, according to director Martin Campbell, is the best of all the James Bond films.
It's a sort of grittier, the acting is grittier and I think more realistic and so forth. I think it's probably more stylish in terms of the way we've made it than previous Bonds.
Also, Pierce Brosnan is possibly the best Bond actor ever, or at least the best since Sean Connery.
You felt the animal with Sean, always. He was very male. He was very strong. He had a great sensuality to him. Moved well, carried himself well. He was very present within the scenes. And the scenes were very real in his hands.
Isabella Scorupco does a wonderful job acting in her role as well, as a sweet but strong Russian girl who is caught in the middle of the conflict. The movie was well made. The plot is excellent, captivating, and realistic. You can't help but wonder if wiping out the computerized business world could ever happen. Although other moments in the movie may seem far-fetched, you don't mind it at all because a Bond film is meant to be outrageous. The action scenes, however, are sometimes flawed with poor audio transitions from one cut to another, but otherwise, GoldenEye is a must-see movie. Not just another action movie, this is one of the best 007 films yet from United Artists. That was our review of GoldenEye from 1995. 2 long years later, Rare's long-delayed GoldenEye game finally hit store shelves. Our review shows that while we liked the game a lot, we didn't think it was as earth-shattering as everyone else. The name's Bond, James Bond. GoldenEye is basically a first-person shooter game, the genre popularized by Doom. Nintendo has emphasized that GoldenEye is not just another Doom clone. This may be true, but GoldenEye hardly redefines the genre. The graphics are excellent, except for the blocky human figures. The surface textures are beautiful, and you can see far into the distance. You can see even further with a sniper rifle, which lets you zoom in on the horizon to aim at unsuspecting guards. The zoom feature on this gun can be awkward, though, especially when you're aiming at an alarm button, which you want to destroy. There's an easy solution to this problem. Don't use the sniper rifle for aiming at objects. GoldenEye 007 has 20 stages in all, 18 on the low difficulty level, and 1 extra stage for each of the higher 2 difficulty levels. Regardless of the difficulty, the game is automatically saved after you beat any stage. Without this feature, beating the game would be impossible. In fact, beating the game is impossible on the higher difficulty levels. Do yourself a favor. Don't even try them. You still get an ending with low difficulty, and as far as we know, the ending does not change along with the difficulty. The ending is pretty stupid. It reflects the lack of emphasis on cinematic sequences in the game. There are very few cinematic sequences, and even those scenes constitute only the camera swooping around the landscape of a new level. In the ending, Bond escapes in a helicopter, and then we see him kissing Natalia in the jungle. She goes, "Ooh, James," and the credits roll. Whoop-de-doo. Although there's not much plot development in the cinema scenes, the actual gameplay, what you do in the game, keeps the story going on its own. Moving over to play control, you can adjust the commands assigned to each button on your controller without any trouble. You will surely want to change from the default controls to make the game handle more like Turok, Dinosaur Hunter. The control is not flawless, no matter what the setting. If you're looking down while walking over a gun, you won't pick it up. If you're looking ahead while walking over it, you will. Now that's stupid. Moving the crosshairs is also difficult. You can switch weapons safely by pressing start. Bond will look down at his watch, bringing up a menu system with everything you need to worry about. If you beat the game on the hardest mode, you will open up hidden levels for the 4-player minigames, which we can't show you because we only have 1 controller. And frankly, we don't care about the multiplayer stuff. No one buys a game specifically for multiplayer options. GoldenEye is an excellent game, even with its flaws. Experienced players will beat it quickly, though, so some of you might be better off renting it. Our last note regarding this game is about the bungee jumping scene. Look at this. It looks like he's jumping without a rope. To make matters worse, the camera is all screwed up. He jumps. He jumps again, from a different angle. What the heck? Is that some funky new directing style or what? That kind of funk may not be cool, but we'll take Tina Turner funk any day. So bring on the noise, bring in the funk. Turn the funk on or turn the funk off.
See reflections on the water, more than darkness in the depths. See him surface in every shadow. On the wind I feel his breath. GOLDENEYE, I found his weakness. GOLDENEYE, he'll do what I please. GOLDENEYE, sweetness, but a bitter kiss will bring him to his knees. You'll never know how I watched you from the shadows as a child. You'll never know how it feels to be the one who's left behind. You'll never know the days, the tears I've cried. But now my time has come, and time is not on your side. See him move through smoke and mirrors, feel his presence in the crowd. Other girls, they gather around him. If I had him, I wouldn't let him out. GOLDENEYE, not lace or leather. Golden chain taken to the spot. GOLDENEYE, I'll show him forever. It'll take forever to see what I've got. You'll never know from the shadows as a child. You'll never know how it feels to get so close and be denied.